Good day everyone, my name is Christian P. Mama from Grade 12 Precision and I am here to tackle about the activity 3, the 6 ingredients mainly used in baking, module 5, baking ingredients, and the lesson is the ingredients.
Good day, everyone. My name is Christian P. Momo from Greater Precision, and I am here to tackle about the ingredients. So let's begin. There are six ingredients often used in baking, namely flour, fats and oil, sweeteners, milk, leavening agents, and salt. The first one is flour. Is the basis for a recipe because gluten or protein in flour provides structure. It is classified as a strengthener. Gluten is formed when the proteins in wheat flour interact with one another when they are hydrated. An elastic network forms as dough or batter containing wheat flour is handled. There are five types of flour. First one is all-purpose flour, milled from a mixture of soft and hard wheat. Second, bleach all-purpose flour, slightly acidic and interferes with leavener, helping bake good rise to full potential. Third, unbleached all-purpose flour, preferred by bakers, especially in baking bread. The fourth one is cake flour. It is a bleached flour significantly containing more soft weight or low protein weight. Fifth, bread flour or first class flour, strongest of all flours, providing the most structural support. Let's talk about the uses of the flour. The first one is cake flour. Brownies, layer cakes, cupcakes, scones, and quick bread are examples of baked product with a soft feel. Cake flour can also be used to make light and fluffy pastries and sweets. Second, all-purpose flour is appropriate for a variety of baked items including bread, biscuits, pizza, cookies, muffins, and more. It's also used to thicken sauces and gravies. Lastly, bread flour. Cookies, pancakes, waffles, quick breads, and pie crust all benefit from it. The second ingredient is fats and oils. It is generally fats are solid while oils are liquids. Fats come from a variety of animals and plants. Oils are mostly oils are mostly from plants. There are five types of fats and oil. First is butter. It's a dairy product made from the solid components in milk. The typical butter is unsalted and in the category of sweet cream butter. You will also find salted butter which has a small amount of salt added as a preservative. Second, margarine. First made in France, 1869. Used for flavoring, baking, and cooking. Modern margarine is made mainly of refined vegetable oil and water. Third one, lard. Lard is a white soft fat obtained from pigs. It has a distinctive flavor and unique crystal structure, which enhances flakiness in pie crust. Its high, its high smoke point makes it popular for frying and cooking applications. The fourth one, shortening. Shortening is any solid fat at room temperature that is used to make crumbly pastry and other food products. Although butter is solid at room temperature and is commonly used in pastry, the term shortening is rarely used to be applied to butter and is more closely related to margarine. Last one, oil. Oil is a plant-derived fat that remains liquid at room temperature. It can be obtained from soybean, sunflower, corn, linseed, palm, coconut, rapeseed, olives, peanut, canola, and many other plants. So the uses of fats and oil is, the first one is butter. Uses of fats and oil. First one, butter. It is used in baking sauce making. Uses of fats and oil. The first one is butter. It is used in baking, sauce making, pan frying, and other cooking processes. Butter is most commonly prepared from cow's milk, but it can also be made from the milk of other mammals such as sheep, goats, buffalo, and yaks. Second, margarine. Texture, mouthful, and other sensory qualities to baked foods. Its other functions include prolonging the shelf life of a product. Lastly, oil. Probably the biggest function of oil in most baking recipes is to keep your product moist. The third ingredient is sweeteners. Sweeteners are food additives. The third ingredient is sweeteners. Sweeteners are food additives that are used or intended to be used to add sweetens to meals or as a tabletop sweetener. There are 5 types of sweeteners. Number 1, brown sugar demerara. Dark or light flavor depends also on color. White light caramel taste, texture like granulated, minimally refined from cane sugar. Second, sanding sugar. Fairly resistant to high heat and gives extra crunch to cookies. May be available colored. Last and thirdly, muscovado, unrefined cane sugar in which molasses is not removed. Dark to light in color, wet, sticky, and sandy texture. Has stronger flavor. Fourth, pearl sugar, also called nib sugar or hale sugar. Coarse and hard texture, holds its shape, and doesn't melt when exposed to high heat. Fifth, granulated sugar, also called refined table or white sugar. The most common type of sugar made from sugar cane or sugar beets. Uses of sugar. First is sanding sugar, primarily used for decorating. Second is pearl sugar, commonly used in Scandinavian baking to decorate cookies, buns, pastries. Third, brown sugar demerara. Soft brown sugar is more widely suited to the baking of sponge cake, biscuits, and pastries. The fourth ingredient is milk. Milk products contain an enzyme that is harmful to gluten development in yeast bakes. To prevent this, you can scald the milk, which means heating the milk to just before boiling and then letting it cool to room temperature again. There are 5 types of milk. First, evaporated milk. Simply reduce milk to add extremely creamy liquid. By boiling off most of the milk's water content, you get a naturally sweet milk substitute with no added sugar. Second, whole milk. Whole milk contains no milk fat and is not fortified with vitamin A. As are the other forms of reduced fat milk, whole milk has a creamier and richer flavor than reduced fat milks. Thirdly, low fat milk. Milk that contains 1% milk fat, although many people perceive skim milk to be low fat because it contains 1% of less milk fat. The normal classification for low fat milk is 1% low fat milk. Fourth, condensed milk. Traditionally cow's milk that has much of the water content boiled away and then sugar added. Lastly, buttermilk. Cultured or stored milk is fresh milk that has been cultured or stored by bacteria. Lactose in milk is converted to lactic acid due to the presence of bacteria. The uses of milk. First is evaporated milk. Bakers frequently use it as a cream alternative to help lower fat content. Second, Whole milk, it softens the baked item, adds moisture, and aids in browning. Thirdly, low-fat milk. It can be used in almost everything that ordinary milk is used for. It just won't have the same creamy taste, and baked items will be slightly less soft as a result. The fifth ingredient is leavening agents. The release of gases within such mixes causes doughs and butters to expand. Air, steam, yeast, baking powder, and baking soda are examples of such agents. There are five types of leavening agents. First is baking powder. In the presence of fluids and heat, a fine white material interacts, releasing carbon dioxide. Baking powder contains a natural acid that activates it. Second, baking soda, also known as bicarbonate of soda or sodium bicarbonate. This fine white powder is made up of alkaline salts. Baking soda requires an acidic component to activate it, such as molasses, honey, fruit or fruit juice, lemon juice, yogurt, and so on. Thirdly, baker's yeast. Saccharomyces cerevisiae is a harmless microorganism whose major purpose is to convert fermentable sugars in dough into carbon dioxide and ethanol. Fourthly, steam. This happens when you cook at an extremely high temperature. The butter must be able to hold in the steam until it is set. When heated, steam expands and produces the leavening action. Popovers and puff pastry are examples of this. Lastly, air, including the use of mechanical leavening agents. When trapped air is heated, it expands. The uses of leavening agents. First is baking powder, used to increase the volume and lighten the texture of baked goods. Second, baking soda. It combines with an acid to produce carbon dioxide or a large number of bubbles, allowing cakes, cookies, and other baked goods to rise. Baker's yeast. Yeast causes dough to rise. Yeast, in addition to adding taste, produces carbon dioxide in the dough. It stretches and expands as a result of this. The last ingredient is salt. Salt is a mineral that is mostly made up from sodium chloride, a chemical component that belongs to the wider class of salts. Salt, the oldest of food seasonings, is required for life in general. Salting is an important way of food preservation. There are four types of salt. Table salt. Table salt is a finely ground, highly refined, mined salt. Table salt, like all salts, has additional functions in cooking and baking. Second, sea salt. In baked goods, you want the salt to disseminate evenly throughout the recipe to smooth out the flavor, rather than showing up in large salty chunks. Number three, kosher salt. Kosher salt is a flaky, coarse-grained salt. It's popular among cooks since it's easy to pinch and handle and has no additives or anti-caking chemicals. It's also less pungent than table salt and dissolved quickly. Fourthly, coarse salt. Coarse salt is just a large-grained salt crystal. As a result, it can be both sea salt and mined salt. The uses of salt. First is table salt. It accentuates other flavors, keep food juicy, aids in bread gluten formation, and helps give bread a flavorful, dark crust. Second, sea salt. Sea salt is a great ingredient to sprinkle on top of dishes as a way to give recipes added color, flavor, and crunch. Lastly, kosher salt comes in a coarse grain and a fine grain. The fine grain is great for baking because it disperses quickly into ingredients. Thank you for listening, everyone. So stay safe, and I hope that you learned a lot from this lesson, the ingredients. Stay safe. Bye.